Hello, my name's Jimmy White. Certain players have different ways of gripping their cue. I intend to grip my cue with my four fingers round the bottom of my cue. Depending on the shot, if it's just a straight screw back, I hold it fairly tight. If it's running through, I intend to loosen it a bit, let the cue do the work. But my cue action is mainly to do with my wrist. You know, I grip the cue for different pressures for different shots, but mine is all in the wrist action. A lot of people exaggerate and they have what you call a complete flick. It works for a lot of players, but I think under pressure in matches, you guys might be playing in a league match, semi-pro, or even getting close to making a 100 break, and you feel a bit under pressure and you grip the cue too tight. You've got to loosen the cue and let the cue do the work, basically. So for a real deep screw back, a little bit tighter, as you can notice with my hand, and follow through with the cue. For top spin, as I say, I always hold the cue in the same position. Some people have little marks on their cues for where they hold it, so they know exactly down the grain of the cue where they're holding. I intend to hold mine in the same place, and for a top shot, I intend to not hold it too tight, hit the white at the top of the ball, and follow through. And you can see that there's a little release of my cue, which is all done with my wrist. For a screw back, when you're hitting the bottom of the ball, you have to hold the cue slightly tighter, but you must follow through with the cue to get the action on the cue ball. For a stun shot, it's basically, once again, different pressure on how much you hold the cue, but it's imperative that you hold the cue in the same place, and different shots is on how much strength you hold the cue. For example, if you're going to screw back with reverse side, once again the cue's got to be fairly tight, but not too tight, and follow through. Some players find that if they're amateurs out there, or they're in a major league match, or they're on a 90 odd, they want to make their first century, they intend to hold the cue too tight, and through the cue being too tight, then the pressure goes through the arm, and the arm intends not to go through straight, and you miss the schoolboy error shot, and you don't understand why. So it's always important to, when you're practicing, like memory muscle, try and remember what part, how much strength you need for each individual shot. Now, playing with side is a lot more difficult of a shot, but once again, you've got to keep the grip still and as tight as you can to get the side on the cue ball. The stance for me is all about being as still and as solid as you can on the shot. For example, the way I play it, players play it differently. But most players walk into the shot. Me being left-handed, I walk in with my right foot, place my right foot in line of the shot. My left foot is actually in line with the shot. Get down, try and be as solid as you possibly can. The stiller you are, the more control you've got. Pull the cue back, make sure it goes through straight, and follow through. The break-off shot, the way I like to break off the balls is to put the cue ball next to the brown, move it half a ball, hit the last red with a tremendous amount of right hand side, just below centre, hopefully to swing the cue ball off 1, 2, 3, 4 cushions and end up safe behind the green. Okay, when you find yourself in this position where the cue ball is tight against the cushion, it's one of the hardest shots in snooker. My advice for this shot is make sure that when you put your hand on the table that you grip the table as tight as you can. Make sure that your bridge is absolutely solid. So when you get down to play the shot, your bridge is as solid as it can, but the most important thing is to hit the centre of the cue ball at the top, bring the cue back as slow as you can. That's how you play that shot. Very difficult shot indeed. Don't be too disappointed if you don't pot 10 out of 10 of them. The stun follow through is one of the hardest shots to play in the game. And when you're in this situation, you need to pot the long red and stun the cue ball forward a few inches. A lot of players think, well, can I roll it? If I stop the white dead, I've got a difficult black. But the idea is to play the right shot, hit the ball just below centre, pretty firm, and hopefully pot the red and stun through a few inches for perfect position on the black. This is the basic screw back, pot in the black, bottom of the cue ball, centre. Again, depends on your grip, on how you play the shot. So you don't want to grip the cue too hard, you just want to feel the shot and get position on the red. So you would pot the black and screw back like that. We move the red up to the pink spot, so we want to play the same shot, but we want to pot the black using screw the right hand side, so when it hits the cushion it bounces off into this angle, so you're perfect on the red. Another way of breaking the pack is pot the red and leave yourself an angle on the black where you use the top cushion, hopefully create enough power and speed to split the reds open. And pot the black. And split the pack. When the pack's in a tight position like that and I've got an open red here, the idea is to get proper position on the blue. After I pot the red, I need to pot the blue and smash the reds up. So pot the red. And with the blue, to try and get a nice split and keep the white in the middle of the table, I have to try and hit the pink full ball. And hopefully the reds will split nice for a frame winning opportunity. Like so. I'm going to show you another way of breaking the pack from the black. I need to pot the red, leave myself half ball black, and when I go into the pack I need to hit them two reds if I can, so that the reds open up, the white bounces off that cushion and comes back into play, because if I just go into the middle of the red you'll find that the white will stick and 9 times out of 10 you're not on a red. So pot the red. By potted the black to split the reds up, you use stun, but you use a lot of power and a lot of follow through. The fourth way of potting the black and splitting the pack up, when you've got a tight pack like this situation here, is that if you put a tremendous amount of screw back on the cue ball, so you pot the black, when the white hits the reds, it's still got backspin on the cue ball, and hopefully it will come back and open a few more reds, because it's quite a tight pack situation. So we pot the black, tremendous amount of screw, and try and open up the reds, like so. Another way to split the pack is pot the black with top spin. Right, try and pot the long red, stay on the black.
One.
Stun the black in for the red.
Eight.
Dropping the red in, try and stay high on the black.
9.
Come a bit straight, so I'm going to have to screw back off the cushion. Dropping the red in, trying to stay close control around the black spot.
17.
Stun the black off of one cushion.
24.
Not that great, so I'm going to have to plough onto the pink by potting the red in the middle.
25.
Just pulling the white back about an inch for the red. Stunning the red off one cushion.
52.
Drop the pink in, should be on one or two reds.
38.
Tiny bit of side off the cushion for the blue.
39.
Stunning the blue in, forcing a little bit of an angle to get on the red. Dropping the red off one cushion for a bulk colour.
45.
Screw back the brown, one cushion for the red in the centre. I've got options here to plough on the blue or the black. I think I'll just drop it in for the pink. I'm going to have to screw the pink in for the red by the centre. I don't know how I get beat, Michaela. It must be the drinking and the gambling and I don't know. We're back. Stun a red in the centre for the blue. little bit out of position, so I've got to stun the blue in, hopefully come around this area for the red nearest to the pocket. Okay, I'm just going to drop the red in, tiny bit aside to get position on the black.
63.
Stun the black in for one of them two reds below the pink. We've got to use the rest now. I prefer, lots of players intend to have different grips on the rest. I think to hold the rest with your four fingers and hold the thumb as your support. Try and keep the rest as still as you can. Thank you. Just going to stun up for the red by the pink. Just going to hold for the pink. I'm going to pop the pink, play off two cushions for either of them two reds into the side pocket. A little bit short for pace.
85.
So I'm going to try and drop the red into the centre pocket. Plan B. Pop the black off one cushion. Just a natural ball. Maybe a slight bit of right hand side for the two reds. Stun the red in off one cushion for the pink.
94.
Stun the pink for the last red. No applause, Michaela. It's not good, is it, huh? Yay, thank you. And stun the red in for a bold colour. On the green, just pull back a couple of inches. Stun the yellow off one cushion.
106.
Same thing with the green, stun off one cushion.
109.
It's very important that you don't get the wrong side of the blue here, so you can get on the pink.
113.
Get that a bit weak. So I'm just going to pop the blue in the middle, just going to drop it in, hopefully enough side to get position on the pink. It's there.
180.
Got the pink in. I'm going to try and play a trick shot now. And try and pop the black and going off in the green pocket. Thank you, Michaela. This is one of the practice routines that most professionals do. It's just set up as a tee and it's basically getting cue ball control.
How long have you been playing?
I've been playing snooker since I was 11 years of age. I went to a local snooker club, fell in love with the game. I didn't play for a year. We just used to go in the snooker club to get out of the rain. And then I picked a cue up when I was 11, and I made 100 break at 13, and in them days it made the national newspapers. And me and Tony Mio used to go round the country with a guy who drove a black taxi, and we used to go and play the best players up and down the country from the age of 14 to about 18. So basically I've been on the road for 35 years.
So your interest purely started from literally just getting out of the ring?
Just literally, just somewhere to hide. You know, I was playing truant from school. I'm not proud of that. You know, if you want to be, you know, I wish I'd have gone to school, but basically it was just to hide from the schoolmaster and get out of the rain, yeah.
So how did you get involved with the professional circuit from there?
Well, and then at 16 I won the English Amateur Championship, and I could have turned professional then and gone to the Crucible 17 and 18. But my career from day one, I obviously wanted to win all the tournaments available, and by winning the English Amateur Championship, that get me an invite to go into the World Amateur Championship, which I won when I was 18 in Tasmania in Australia.
Unbelievable. You've won 10 ranking events, 37 invitationals, and numerous other titles, including World 10 Bullet Pool.
Thank you.
And most recently the World Seniors title. But what about those 6 World Finals?
With the 6 World Finals, 3 of them I was well beaten. Stephen Hendry beat me. He beat me 18-6 one year. He annihilated me. John Parrott played fantastic in the first session that he won. Steve Davis beat me in 84. I was 12-4 down after the first session with Steve Davis, and my tip was worn out completely. And a guy called Jim Meadowcroft used to be a commentator. He changed my tip, and I went from 12-4 down to 12-11. And the last game of that session, I was 50 in front with 3 reds left, and Steve Davis managed to clear up, so I went 13-11 down instead of 12 each. So I might have won that one, but he beat me 18-16 in that one. And then one of the other 3s was Stephen Hendry. One of them I twitched on the black. I rushed the black, and every snooker player twitches. It's how you cope with it at the time. So I would have won that one. But as Stephen Hendry said to me the other day, we were talking about it in Germany, and he said, well, people forget that the game before, to go 17 each, I was 60 odd behind and cleared up to go 17 each. So quite proud of all of my finals, except for the one when I was 14-8 in front, and I didn't think I could lose. I lost all focus, and I started in my seat thinking about the people I should thank, the people I shouldn't thank, and I sort of completely went into a dream of, you know, what I'm going to say and all that, and all of a sudden it was 14-12, and then Stephen Hendry played some of the greatest snooker, you know, the game has ever seen. He made, in 10 frames, he made 8 breaks over 80. So that was a very disappointing one. That, you know, that would be hard to swallow. And the other 2, he beat me 18-12 one year. He just played better than me. But I'm very proud to have got to the 6 finals. I still think I can win the World Championship. Obviously, it gets harder and harder with the standard of play. But if you can keep your game together for the 17 days, you know, as you know, we're on the road all the time. You know, the game is there. It's about keeping it together for 17 days.
It's the long haul.
Yeah,
it's definitely not the short haul. Yeah. So, I mean, the game has changed so much from when I started watching it personally. It was the 80s. It was early 80s. Massive fan, Cliff Thorburns, 147 and such like. Through the 90s and now into the present day. Tell me about some of the characters and the people over that period.
Well, Steve Davis, of all the greatest players in the world, the greatest player I've ever seen is Ronnie O'Sullivan. Stephen Hendry, I would say, was one of the greatest potters. John Higgins today just amazing self-belief, concentration. And he has an art form of going round of potting balls and break building. He makes the game look very easy. Steve Davis to me was the hardest to beat because I think he had the greatest safety game. Hendry was, you know, he used to leave himself 3 or 4 foot pots because he had that much self-belief and confidence. And now you go to the present day of the likes of Judd Trump, who, to me, is just an amazing player. You know, punches a lot of balls in, but just a phenomenal posser. He doesn't want to play safe. He wants to go for his balls, and that's what excites him. And I think that goes back to the late, great Alex Higgins, who could do amazing things on the snooker table, mainly with flair and entertainment. That's why his exhibitions were always, you know, packed, and that's why he had such a big fan base. And I've always enjoyed the flair side of the game, and I intend to do that all in exhibitions as well. But now and again it creeps into your match play, and it can cost you tournaments, but I've always played that way. I've always loved playing that way. But as for the game itself, since Barry Hearns took over, you know yourself, you're famous as many snooker players. Like in Hong Kong, China and the Philippines, you're recognised more than all the pool players. But that just shows the power of the game. But I think Barry Hearn now is bringing in all these new tournaments. We're going to Australia, we're going to Brazil, and the game's never been in better shape.
No, I absolutely agree. Very great to be involved in going forward with that. Going back, what's your best memory?
My best memory was winning the UK Championship, because that was one of the tournaments I hadn't won as well as the World Championships. My greatest memory, well, there's so many, you know, I've had so many ups and downs, but just to still be playing, I'm 49 years of age now. I know I don't look it, Makola. But I'm 49 years of age. I still adore playing. I don't adore the travelling. But once we get there, me and you do a lot of Legends tours, and you know it can be tiring. But once you get your gloves on, I get my cue out. The buzz is still there. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it.
No, absolutely. It's not worth it otherwise, is it? Is there anything you would change?
If I would have changed, of course, I would have listened to people, and I would have gone to bed. You know, I was such a hyper young lad, from 20 till 35. I come from, you know, a place of, you know, I come from a working class family, which I'm very proud of. But I've seen so much, you know, the snookers took me all around the world. I've got some amazing friends, and I would have prepared better. I would have gone to bed. You know, there was a lot of times when, you know, I won matches, but I felt so ill because obviously I've been drinking too much. But that was through my own stupidity. I don't blame anybody else for that. And I won the World Seniors last year, and not drinking. I was 5.5 months not drinking. I never felt so good in all my life. So I'm carrying on down that route, and hopefully I can get back in the top 32 and go from there.
Absolutely. What do you do when you're not playing snooker?
Well, not playing snooker. My girlfriend lives in Southampton, and I live in Epsom with 2 of my daughters, and my son's 12. So I commute from Southampton and my house in Epsom. So that takes up most of my time, and most of my time I'm practicing. I like to sort of chill, go on the odd holiday, but play a bit of golf. But at the moment, I'm just still focused on snooker.
Snooker family takes up most of the time.
Absolutely, you don't get a lot more time left.
No. If you could change any rules, or there was anything about the game that you're not so happy with, what would it be? Anything you can think of?
I think personally the miss rule for me is, I think that on the 3rd attempt, I think it should be ball in hand, because, you know, sometimes if you play a good enough snooker that someone can't hit, you know, that should be a good enough shot, should be rewarded. Mm-hmm. You know, and I also don't think that someone should lose the game by giving out so many points until they need a snooker. So I'm a bit controversial about the miss rule. I've heard that they've cut the frames down in the UK to 11, which I don't agree with. But as long as they keep the World Championships at 19 and then 25 for the next round, and so on and so on. But no, I don't think, basically, apart from the miss rule, I think it's all good.
That actually, well, that leads into the shootout, the snooker shootout that we had earlier in the year. Do you think there's a place for a deviation from the traditional game?
For fun.
Yeah.
You know, if you put up a nice prize for it, you know, maybe not just money, maybe if they've done it for a charity, you know, maybe get a few celebrities in who play, 'cause there's a lot of good footballers play. Ronnie Wood plays fairly good snooker. Damien Hirst, Ronnie O'Sullivan's pal, plays. So you could create a lot of money with it being a bit fun, but you could never have speed snooker as a ranking tournament, because that would be like footballers playing 15 minutes a side, or like golfers playing 9 par 3s.
Yeah.
So hopefully that never happens.
No, that's true. Alex Higgins, it's well documented your love for the man.
Well, you know, I was one of his few friends. You've met Alex. He had a wonderful side to him, and then he had a nasty side to him, which was caused by drink and gambling. But the reason that I play the snooker the way I do is because of Alex Higgins. Because when I was 13 years of age, I see him play this particular shot that I'm going to show you now on the black. And basically, I don't know if I get it right with my jacket on, but we try. Alex Higgins was playing Eddie Charlton in pot black, and the simple way to play this shot would to just be, the black's over there, he can't get to the black. The simple way to do it would just be to go up and down, and hopefully pop black, like so. But Alex Higgins, being Alex Higgins, and what made me fall in love with the flair side of the game, he was here, commentators didn't know what to do, every snooker player in the land, because everyone watched pot black because it was the only snooker, couldn't make out what he was doing, and he got down and he cued to this cushion, and to the right hand cushion, and he played the shot like this. He played it with side, just missed that. You know, just to think of that shot under them circumstances and that pressure, we'd probably be here all day now. But it was just a fantastic thought pattern and a different way of potting the black.
And he just hit that first time?
He had to hit it first time, because he would have been out of the competition. And from that moment on, I was transfixed on Alex Higgins. Followed him around the country. Obviously, he had that great match in '82 when he done that amazing 69 clearance. Yeah. And I'd done thousands of exhibitions with him, and he was amazing. And I like to play all them shots when I'm doing exhibitions.
Entertain everybody.
It's been a pleasure, Michaela.
Thank you. Brilliant.
Bless you.